Sorry, I was waiting for the music. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us at the Discord booth today. I appreciate that. Today I'm going to be talking about how we integrated the new Discord social SDK into our game Supervive to enhance the game's social play experience, covering some of the features we were able to ship to players as part of the integration, as well as some of the technical implementation of adding the social SDK to maybe your existing live game. My name is Andrew Johnston, and I'm a software engineer at Theorycraft Games, where I primarily focus on our services and infrastructure for our game, Supervive. Today, I'm going to be giving some context as to why social play is important to Supervive, going through the steps we took to set up and integrate the new Discord social SDK, and covering some of the new features we were able to deliver to players, as well as existing social features that we were able to improve using the SDK. Before we dive into the details, let's just do a brief introduction of Supervive if you're not familiar. Supervive is a MOBA BR meets hero shooter where 10 teams of 4 face off in the Skylands to be the last team standing. Players jump, glide, shoot, punch, bounce, nuke, and spike their enemies in this free-flowing, chaotic battleground in the sky. I did not write that copy, but it's good. Supervive is a game where you can play solo or with a squad, but teamwork and playing with friends can unlock a whole new level of hero interactions within the sandbox to help you win, or make it easier to execute a wild plan only to have it backfire in your face. In either case, communicating, coordinating, and playing together can create unforgettable memories in Supervive, give you a competitive edge, and make every match even more rewarding than the last. So we started closed playtesting of Supervive with external players in July of 2021, and from the very beginning, we saw a clear trend. Players naturally formed teams, they created pre-mades to play together, and they built friendships in-game and through our community playtesting Discord server. This was a very early but strong signal that social play shouldn't be an afterthought. It was core to the Supervive experience. Something we frequently said on the team throughout all of development was that we wanted to make a game that was better played with your friends. And some of our biggest takeaways from our early playtesting was just how much social play impacted player engagement and retention. First, a significant percentage of game hours. I'm actually allowed to say the number. It's like 55%. They played our primary game mode, which is made up of teams of 4. 55% of all game hours was played with at least one other friend in their party. So the majority. This tells us that playing with your friends is a core way players choose to experience Supervive. Also, players who team up with friends not only play for longer sessions, but they're also more likely to return, reinforcing that social play helps our goals as a studio for Supervive as well. These trends make it clear, social connections keep players engaged. So when we started learning about the features that we could get with the Discord social SDK, we were really excited about the opportunity to add it to Supervive. So let's actually talk about those features and how they helped improve social systems and play in Supervive. First off, the social SDK provides in-game and Discord direct messaging. So prior to the SDK, there actually wasn't a way to do direct messaging in Supervive, so a lot of communication was happening outside of the game, or situations that we called ships passing in the night, where maybe an opportunity to party up and play was completely missed. The SDK provides support for direct messaging out of the box, and if you link, you can even DM with your Discord friends, regardless if they're in-game or not. It also adds support for sending game invites through Discord. So instead of the process of sharing your Supervive in-game name, re-adding your friends in-client, coordinating party invites, players can now send and accept Discord invites that instantly drop you into your friend's party. It also increases visibility of player sessions in the Discord client with rich presence. Friends are able to see what game mode you're playing, how long you've been in a match, and whether there's room for them to join. And also, we get access to voice and text chat through Discord. Using Discord's platform, we're now able to enable in-game communication for things like party chat while in a lobby, or voice chat for players who've been match-made together in-game. And all of this is on Discord's platform. Obviously, we see a bunch of value in these features, so we got to work integrating the social SDK into Supervive. I'm going to go a little technical for a bit, and then I'll step back out to features. It'll be fine. So the first step in integrating Discord social SDK for us was setting up our identity provider configuration. If your game uses Steam or Epic Online services for your IDP, the process is actually much simpler because Discord supports them out of the box. However, in our case, the identity provider we use for Supervive did not support acting as an OIC provider. So to work around that limitation, we built a pretty lightweight service that acts as a bridge between our authentication system and Discord's API. The service handles a few key tasks. It exposes the well-known OIDC endpoint to Discord, which Discord then uses to validate incoming tokens. The service validates those incoming Supervive client tokens and resigns them. And then we exchange that now self-signed identity token with Discord for a either provisional or linked Discord account or Discord token, depending on if the player has linked their Discord account or not. So this setup allowed us to integrate the Discord authentication flow without us having to wait for changes to our identity provider. And I mentioned provisional account tokens. So these tokens are what you can consider like the default account token when you set up the Discord social SDK. It lets players access all the Discord social features like adding in-game friends to their social graph, direct messaging, voice and text chat without them having to link their Discord account. This ensures that all of your players can use these social features whether they choose to link their Discord account or not. So when players do decide to link their Supervive account to Discord, the process is actually pretty simple and we can initiate it from in-game. We pop up in-client modal that provides context about what linking will actually do. Proceeding will open the authorization flow in Discord, and accepting merges their Discord account with their provisional account, ensuring that things like your friends list actually transfer when you do the linking. By linking, players also unlock the entire social experience using Discord. Access to Discord friends from within the Supervive client for direct messaging and game invites, as well as rich presence to share their game activity. Players are also able to unlink if they desire, transferring all of their game data back into a provisional account, so that way data is not lost. So when the player authorizes the Supervive app in Discord, we handle that callback from within the social SDK. We get the authorization code, and we pass that back to Discord to complete the account linking process. We get a refresh token back, and you store it in a database, however you want to secure it. And then on subsequent login to the game, we're able to use that stored refresh token to obtain the player's Discord access token for use in the SDK. Now, if the player unleaks their Discord account from outside Supervive, we do have a little bit of business logic that handles that status code from Discord, and it will clear out the refresh token. But otherwise, it's a pretty straightforward process. Cool. So now that we have our authentication token for the social SDK in hand, we can get to work implementing the SDK into Supervive. So the technical side of the implementation, I was actually saying to Stanislav earlier, was very simple and straightforward, and it's not that interesting for a talk, so we're just going to kind of focus on the value and product adds instead. The very first thing we set up was rich game presence because it was very simple and straightforward and kind of tied into our existing activity system. Rich presence is needed to send game invites via Discord, but it's also had a positive effect on exposure to potential Supervive players as well. Players who haven't heard about Supervive see their friends playing it on Discord, helping us with our game's reach. You can quickly see if your friend has room in their party and some information about what they're doing in game. Maybe they're in queue, they have 3 players out of 4 in their party. You could be that last friend to fill out their party, and you can learn from your friends, even if you've never played Supervive before. I mentioned earlier that we started external playtesting of Supervive, then Project Loki, in July of 2021. From the very beginning, players immediately began building out their friends list on our own platform, whether it's with friends that they knew in real life, teammates that they met in-game, or other players they connected with through our community Discord server. Now, since they actually built these friend graphs over time, we did not want to nuke them and make them start it from scratch and feel like they were missing out friends during transition to Discord. To help solve this, we decided to merge social graphs from the stale, or now old, Supervive friend graph into Discord, adding them as game friends. If you're not familiar, Discord has support for adding people as friends in-game, which you can then upgrade or downgrade. I don't know if they like that term, but you can change them from a Discord friend or not. We wrote a friend syncer that would perform a diff between your Supervive friends list and your Discord game friends. And if we see a Discord game friend missing, your client would send a game friend request. And then once both sides do it, you're now game friends on Discord. Of course, if you're integrating the SDK into a brand new game, or you're adding a social graph for the very first time, this is not a problem you have to solve. Additionally, for players who do link their Discord account, we get even more friend graph social features. They can send and receive direct messages to and from Discord friends from in-game without leaving the client. And more beneficial, new players who link don't have to start out with a very sad and empty friends list. They can instantly connect with all their Discord friends from in-game. They're also able to send their Discord friends invites to their party, which makes it easier than ever to squad up. So that last point about making it easier for friends to play together is actually quite important. So let's take a closer look at how we reduce the friction in Supervive's get into game flow. Before the social SDK, playing with your friends for the very first time is a multi-step process. First, players had to hear about Supervive through word of mouth. Ironically, maybe this actually happens on Discord. Once in-game, they have to coordinate adding each other as friends, which usually means you have to share your in-game name. Your friend has to figure out where the hell they add friends and what is a brand new UI to them. You have to send a friend request, you have to wait for the request to be accepted, then you send a party request, which also has to be accepted. This process obviously has a good amount of friction, requiring external coordination out of game, waiting on invites, and multiple steps just to get into a party together. Every time you add a step, you introduce a potential drop-off point, and it makes it less likely that friends actually squad up and play together. We don't want that. So with the Discord Social SDK, playing together is much faster and smoother. Here's how it actually works. First, you send a Supervive invite to your Discord friend from in-game. Your friend will accept the request, which launches Supervive through Steam using a helper method defined in the Social SDK. And once the game is launched, another SDK callback provides party information, like maybe the join secret for the party, which you can consume and handle the party join operation. But from your player's perspective, all they did was click join on the invite, and now they're playing Supervive and in the same party as your friend. This cuts out a ton of the back and forth. Players don't have to deal with all those multiple steps or wait around for friend requests or invites, and it streamlines the process, allowing friends the ability to get into game quickly and play together with much less hassle. This flow also works for players who are requesting to join a Supervive party from within Discord itself. So with the documentation from Discord, we're able to rapidly integrate these features from the Social SDK into Supervive, and we shipped the integration in our early February patch. We've had about a month of soak, and it's a little early still, but let's actually talk about how players engage with all of our new features and the impact the SDK has had on their social experience. So, patch came out a month ago. Since then, over 20,000 players have linked their Discord accounts, getting access to the full set of functionality that the Social SDK provides. Additionally, every single one of our players had a provisional Discord account created for them on client launch and login, which went honestly without a hitch. I got up pretty early that day to make sure everything went well, and I got to spend the entire morning playing games on our new patch instead of triaging issues. With the Social SDK, we introduced several new features that enhance the player experience, like direct messaging, allowing players to communicate from within and outside of the game, rich presence, which shows your friends what you're doing in Supervive, making it easier to stay in the know, game invites through Discord, letting players quickly squad up and play together, as well as text and voice chat on Discord's platform, giving players more ways to communicate and strategize. So as far as impact, we've seen an increase in hours played with parties, and the overwhelming majority of players don't just trial this feature, they actually stay linked and retain access to all the features that and benefits SDK provides, not only to the player, but to the game as well. These changes helped us improve social play in Supervive, and we're really excited to see how they continue to evolve the player experience. But maybe most meaningful to me is being able to deliver on the high expectations that all players have for us as developers. Shout out to Sable. It took us 4 years to add it, but we did it. I want to thank you all for listening. If you want to learn more about the Discord Social SDK, check out the link on this slide, discord.com/social-SDK for more information, or ask around at the Discord booth for anyone with a Discord shirt. That's probably fine. They probably know. Also, if you're interested in more details about our development journey at Theorycraft, both building Supervive using Discord as a virtual office space, as well as with players on our community playtesting Discord server during our private and public playtesting, and now through open beta, be sure to check out John Bell's talk.